Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back for another episode of Portal 2. If somebody is very eagle-eyed, they will notice we are no longer on anoscopic 4x. At the very first 2 minutes of trying to record this episode, the graphics, well, I don't know if it's graphics really, I don't know what caused it. The game locked up and crashed, and I had to, Control-Alt-Delete reboot it. Let's hope it doesn't do that again. Let's hope that the rest of the game can do that. Fine.
If the Enrichment Center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test.
So the problem with video settings is at most all I can do is set them as high as possible to start off with, and then play the game for a reasonable amount of time, and then from that reasonable amount of time just hope and assume that it will work that way for the entire game. The only other way I could do it would be to play the entire game all the way through and then record the second time I played through, which would be a huge waste of my time. I couldn't do that. And every time there is a crash like I had, all I can do is turn the settings down and hope it doesn't happen again. But, I mean, that was straight up just, it crashed before I even got through the store. So that more indicates to me that either it was a graphics issue or just the game itself has an issue of loading. But I don't know. So, puzzle 5 here, to get in the game, finally. Teaching you at the very beginning you have to use the floor sometimes. There's no place on any of these sides where I could. So here's the squares. You used to be able to jump just a little bit over 2, and it seems like you can still jump over 2, but it just looks different to me for some reason. So yeah, sometimes you have to use the floor. I'm sorry I got distracted. This puzzle is not anything like a puzzle that I did before. There was no puzzle in the Portal 1, anything like this. Unless I'm just not thinking correctly. And there was some puzzle that actually did act like this, and it looks so different now. Because I don't remember a point where there was water like this, or 2 buttons like this, or this is certainly new. While the steps would come up out of the floor in the first game, they did not show as detailed of these arms, and they came up as steps, not as angled ramps. Alright. Oh, that's good to point out. You only get 1 of any cubes. So if you have the opportunity to shoot out another cube out of the ejector, it will destroy the first one. I don't think that really ever was the situation in Portal that you could have 2 cubes. So this button brings up that like a wall for a little bit of time. And this button drops the second cube from a different one. And so, where I just said you could only have 1 cube, true and not true at the same time. But if we just click this, it fizzles that one out, and it falls right in the water. So you have to time yourself to put the wall up. That was a little too good of timing. Almost flung the thing. It doesn't look like you can put a portal over there.
Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. All Aperture Science personality constructs will remain functional in apocalyptic, low-power environments of as few as 1.1 volts.
1.1 volts. That's it. And actually, in 2015 technology, 1.1 volts is a little high for a lot of equipment. But I mean, CPUs and processors these days are below that amount. It's not as much about the voltage as it is the milliwatts per hour. How long can you provide that small amount of voltage these days? For batteries, anyways. Anywho, that's the end of that episode. This is the first puzzle we've done that's unique. Completely unique, that puzzle. And teaching us about buttons, a little bit more teaching us about how platforms are going to play a much bigger role in Portal 2 than they ever did in Portal 1. Teaching us that we can have 2 cubes. There's no puzzle in the first game where you have 2 cubes. So, already doubled the number of cubes for Portal 2. Yeah. So a lot of things are going to be different. Bigger room. Let's get in this elevator. Start down to the next one. And end this episode. As always, I ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos because all of that helps me out. If you want to friend me on Steam, Twitter, Google+, or Battle.net, all that information is down in the description. We are done. Have a good evening.